court has undergone a bit of shock recently that we don't have to recall over here, but we have been witnessing in the past few days with what careful consideration and outright pain Judge Escobar went through to nominate the replacement for a commissioner on District 3. Three of you are known in El Paso County. You either held public offices before or you've been around the public organization. Can you tell us if you have any association or relation to any 40+ individuals who have been charged with corruption in the last 5 years? Professional body.
Well, before we start, did you want us to do the 1-minute introduction and then answer your question?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Liza Montelongo, and I am a former board of trustee with Isla ISD, but I'm also a mom, a business owner, a civic leader, and I've been a community advocate for over 20 years in our community. I am proud to say, especially because of your question, that as a trustee, I always kept my word when I ran my election, and most important, I kept my oath. I was honored by the community back in 2007, and I'm the type of person that has always spoken out, and that's what we need today. And I hope that with time right now, as we answer the questions, that you get to understand who I am, because I am the type of person that does speak out. I do not wait around for change, and I will always do the right thing. Introductions.
Hi, my name is Carlos Leon, and I want to earn your support for your next county commissioner. I'm a lifelong El Pasoan. I've been married for 35 years to my wife, Bonnie, who's back there. And thank you, Bonnie, for being supportive of all these situations we've been involved in the last 35 years. I've got 3 children, Renee, Lori, and Yvette, all professionals continuing their education. Safety, job creation, government transparency are issues that are very important to me. As your chief of police, I oversaw the greatest crime reduction in the state of Texas in 2002. I was charged with the budget of over $100 million per year that the police department that we were assigned. I ask for your vote for one big reason. Number one is we deserve good government and better quality of life, and we need economic development. Back in 2009, I was involved in a real bad traffic accident, motorcycle accident. God let me live. My heart actually stopped for a while, but I want to dedicate this second half of my life to my family and good government.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Stonewall and Eastside Democrats, to the students and the college. My name is Jaime Romo. I was born and raised in El Segundo Barrio. I attended Bowie High School. I graduated back in 1994. I married my high school sweetheart, and we have 5 beautiful children. I believe I'm a proud El Pasoan. Look around. We have just so much potential. Paso has so much potential, and it's time. The time is now to move El Paso forward. If elected, I will be your full-time commissioner. I do not have any other business aside from just being your full-time commissioner. And I will work hard for my constituents, not only for my constituents, but also for the people of El Paso. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Now back to my question.
I'm sorry, to answer your question. No, this is my first time running. I do not know any of those individuals. Of course, you're innocent until proven guilty. I know some of them have already pleaded guilty or are in jail. It's embarrassing. This is embarrassing to the city of El Paso. It doesn't really send out the right message when you're making national headline news. You know, you want to move forward. And how can you when people look at El Paso and say, wow, look at all the corruption? Who wants to be here and be part of that or any business or any association or organization who wants to be part of that. To me personally, I feel it's an embarrassment. I feel that we need to stop recycling our politicians. We need to, it's great that all these young individuals, these students are here. You all need to start taking interest in local politics. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect me. It's going to affect everybody. And if you don't, you all don't give up on El Paso. Get out and vote. You have to get out and vote. Do not give up on El Paso. I hear a lot of people saying, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to vote. Why? There's too much corruption. Please do not give up on El Paso. Stay in the know. Find out, look at what's going on around you and go out and vote. Don't be afraid. Get out there and vote. We need you, the young folks here, to get out and vote and move El Paso forward.
I do know many of those individuals. I'm not associated with any of them. I pride myself in the over 30 years that I did with the El Paso Police Department, and past successes of any indication of future successes, I'm your man. There's a lot to be proud of in El Paso. Yes, we have suffered over the last few years many black guys, and we continue to see those black guys come back and back. But I think that right now, and I appreciate the students that are here, because you have an opportunity this time to make a decision on which candidate you're going to vote in. That candidate is an indication of where El Paso is, and that he or she is going to be representing you. So it's so important that you make the right decision, that we have forums like this, that you listen to us, what are our qualifications, where we've been, what we're striving for. And it's easy to talk about economic development. We need jobs, we need to create this, create that. But yes, how are we going to do it? And you've got to listen to the candidates to see what ideas they have. Do they bring innovation? As the chief of police, one of the things that we did, and I was a big part of it, we decentralized the police department. We took the police department out to the people of El Paso, where it used to be you go to one building and that's where you have to go. Now the police have come up to you. And I use a lot of examples insofar as what we've done and what successes we've had. During those years, I was never told no for any grant that we were asking for, except for one. So what I did is I flew up to Washington. I spoke to the commissioner of the COPS office and told him about El Paso. El Paso has one of the poorest zip codes in the country, and they've got to be able to hear from El Pasoans what's going on here, why do we need those funds. And it's a lot easier to say no on paper than it is to say no to somebody's face that's sitting in front of you telling you what El Paso is all about. So it's easy to say that the atmosphere here, it's very hard, the times are hard, but there's many ways to get at that funding without giving up once you're told no. So there's a lot of things we can do. The sports park, if you've seen it lately, it's really in poor condition. There's just about, the county is just about to add about $7.4 million in renovations to it. And this is great. This will bring in those teams, those venues that we look for. I followed Socorro High School as they went from city to city to playing baseball, and those were great stadiums, and they brought in a lot of people. That brings a lot of food to El Paso, a lot of money, and it really makes us stand out. And what we want to do is really keep what we've got in good shape, not let it deteriorate the way it's been. So, thank you.
Your question was about corruption, right, and the 40 individuals. Hell no. And I'm proud to say that. As a former board of trustee, three things are part of that job is policy implementing and management oversight, and of course looking at the budget. And let me tell you, if people know me, and if you don't, let me just tell you again, I am not afraid to speak out. In 2007, when I did become the board of trustee, I was one of the first ones to start speaking out against access. And the amount of money access cost our school district, at the time it costed about over $5 million. And I was very outspoken about that. And I have always fought for accountability and transparency. Those aren't words that are on a slogan. Those are words that I have actually lived and fought for. I can tell you that policies from getting rid of $250,000 blank checks for the superintendent, or fighting. I mean, and you can go and this is all on the newspaper or online, fighting for an accountability list as we were getting stimulus money. And that's where a lot of our problems have come, that not having a way to have a list of where our community people can actually go and look to see where our money is being spent, and that's transparency. And so if you look at 2009, October 2009, I was very outspoken regarding stimulus money and the way it was not being transparent, and how Chilo Madrid and Aliviana brought a program to Isleta. And for a program at the time that had gone through three different names within a week or two, and then it comes to us to vote on, you know, that's the type of the corruption that I got to see while I was an elected official. And so I chose not to run again so I could become more outspoken about it. And so, again, no, I have no association with any of those people. On the contrary, I want them all to pay because they cost our tax dollars. I mean, they cost our community millions of dollars at the cost of children, senior citizens, and our veterans.
Thank you.
We'll now recognize Mr. Graney.
Good evening, panel.
Good evening.
Last year, in a split decision, the El Paso County Commissioners Court decided not to provide domestic partner benefits to unmarried partners of county employees in the county budget. If elected, will you support and work for the inclusion of domestic partner benefits in the county budget? And in your answer, please explain your position.
Good question. When you're elected, you take an oath. And the oath is part of, is that you uphold the law of the United States and the Constitution of the United States. And if you're a domestic partner and you're recognized as being married and it's by law, then yes, I will support. Now, if there's other issues that we need to look at, then I will gladly sit down and talk to whoever we need to talk to. But I think it's time that, one of the things that I love about El Paso is that we've always been an open community. And so the last 2 or 3 years, everything that has happened and the ugliness regarding the gay, lesbian rights, that's not El Paso. That's not, I know that I would not support being closed-minded. I know that, I guess the best way to say it is yes, I guess I would support it. And I guess, well, I keep on saying yes, but no, yes, I would support it. Because our Constitution does say, I know you're looking at me kind of funny, but let me tell you why. It says all men are created equal, and we just took the pledge, and at the end it said justice for all. I mean, so yes, I would support it.
Absolutely, God made all of us equal, and I think all of us have equal opportunities for any type of benefits that are out there. Absolutely, and I'll tell you, if we keep denying some of these folks the right to have that insurance, what's going to happen is a lot of people, some people, you develop a cold, that cold turns into pneumonia, they go to Thomas and to UMC, then they're treated, and guess who pays for it? Us as taxpayers. So there's two prongs to my answer. Number one is God made us all equal. We all have the right to equal benefits, and if we don't do it, it's going to cost the county more money.
Gosh, I don't want to talk to you as a politician. I guess I'll just speak to you what I feel in my heart, and I believe that people need to stop judging. You're not God. Everyone deserves to be happy, regardless. For far too long, the gay community has been suppressed. They're fighting a battle, and no one takes note of that. It becomes like, oh, here they are again trying to legalize marriage, whatever. What they're going through is kind of something that what African Americans went through back in the civil rights, and we really don't take a closer look at the struggles that they're going through Our gay community they're talented, they're extremely intelligent, and we need to treat them as equal. My best friend is gay, and let me tell you what he went through growing up, being taunted, you know, getting beat up all the time. That just broke my heart. So get over it. Let's move forward. That's the bottom line. I will support it 100%, whether you like it or you don't. That's my stand on it. Thank you.
All three of you will be new to the district, the one, and I would like to share with us, if elected, what will be your #1 agenda that will benefit particularly District 1?
I'll go first this time. I think one of the things that I'm going to focus on is I briefly mentioned the sportsplex. Again, let me go into it. I had a meeting, I toured the sportsplex with Mr. Chavez, and it is in poor repair. One of the areas that I noticed, there was an area there that wasn't paved, and I said, how come this is paved? Well, we're waiting for the grant, we're waiting for money to come in so we can redo, they're going to redo the grandstand. There's 10 fields out there, they're going to redo everything. But this specific area wasn't going to be paved, and I said, why not? Well, no funding. And I asked if a business owner here in El Paso would do it for you. Is it acceptable? They said, absolutely. So I talked to the people at CEMEX, and they said, we'd be glad to do it. If we can just put our sign, this donated to the county by CEMEX. What I'm saying is, there's so much, there's the ability to get things done here in El Paso exists if we don't give up. And I was talking to Rosemary Neal about county issues also. And I asked her about the sportsplex. What else are you going to do there? And one of my suggestions is, why don't we build a bike lane? I used to ride motorcycles, as I spoke about a while ago. And now I'm into bicycles, and there's really no area here that you can ride a bicycle safely unless you go out to the river in the west side, that area, which is great. But what can we do for the east side? Where can we have our children go? Where can we go to enjoy the day? And let me go back to the sportsplex. When I went to Midland, when I went to Austin to watch these games, I mean, what a tremendous field they had. And it was just packed with people. And why can't we do that in El Paso? They're also going to build a restaurant and redo the restaurant that's in there. And why can't we build a restaurant where you don't have to come see an event there, that you want to come because the food is good, because you like the atmosphere? So what I'm saying to you, you need a candidate that has innovation, that has imagination, and is not going to be giving up every time we have a bad economy. You have to be able to go after your goals and not give up. I've said it before, I think our worst enemy sometimes is ourselves. I spoke about some other issues, but let me bring something to your attention that we did during my days as the chief of police. When we reorganized the department, we made those regional commands. We specifically made the auditorium so people could come have their meetings there, because for many, many years the police was so separate from the community. One of the things that we installed in there is advisory boards, so we can get your input into how do you run the police department. It's not just one chief, one department that's going to run it all by themselves. You need input, and that's one of the things I want to bring to the county, that it's opened up. What are your ideas? How can we make this work? Because I'll tell you, 4 people don't have all the best ideas. It takes the entire village, the entire city, to get with the commissioner, to get with the chief, and get those ideas going. Thank you.
I would, first and foremost, I need to sit down with other county commissioners. We do have mandated responsibilities that we have to meet. It's very important to have a good rapport with your other commissioners, a good relationship in order to move forward. Yes, there's a lot of things that we need over in District 1, a lot of potential, but we need to see the overall picture as far as what's best for El Paso in general. Many times, you know, there's a struggle, there's a fight about who wanting to bring certain things to a certain district when they don't really see the overall picture of putting it in place where it fits best for El Paso. I would love to get an amusement park down here, a Six Flags. I know there was talks about that, you know, some time ago. Working with Commissioner in Precinct 3, you know, it does border Commissioner 1 borderlines. There's plenty of land out there. We can do that. Our children need something to do. I believe that once we can show the rest of the nation that we can sustain an amusement park, everything's going to fall into place. The Sportsplex, I do believe that Mrs. Ana Perez has done. They're going to be breaking ground sometime in May. They've already got some things going on there, which is great. But we need to think, we need to stop thinking small. We need to start thinking big. So much potential. You know, a Major League Soccer team would be great. You know, we have beautiful weather. First of all, you know, I want to thank law enforcement for keeping El Paso one of the safest cities. Thank you, Mr. Leon, for being part of that. You know, great weather, friendly people, plenty of land. We have Juarez, we have Albuquerque, Las Cruces, you name it. You got to ask yourself why. Why are we having to play catch up? What's going on? I believe that our elected officials aren't coming together in unison and making certain decisions that's going to benefit El Paso. But the potential's there. We can do so many tremendous things. We're educating our young. They're leaving. My son's about to turn 18, and he's like, "Dad, see ya." You know, there's nothing here. It's unfortunate. Let's keep our young. Let's bring in. You know, I want to aggressively recruit businesses into El Paso. I will personally call them to come in. Bigger corporations, high-paying jobs, where our educated can stay here. So we've got a lot of work to do. We're behind, and we all know it. We're behind, and you got to ask yourself, what's going on? That's why stay informed. Vote. Get out there. We need to really move El Paso forward, and the time is now. The time is now for that. Thank you.
Well, I've been talking about this for a while, and so I'll share my vision, which I agree with both of you. First, regarding the Sportsplex, Mr. Leon has covered it pretty well. One of the things that I believe that we need to do is when you look at Plan El Paso, which was on the news this week, I'm excited about that. And it went in front of the county, and the county also was excited about that. And that's the vision that we need. We've got that. And so what we need is interlocal agreements. We need to make sure that we're working with shared services, because county can't do it by themselves, city can't do it by themselves. The taxpayers can't afford that anymore. And so we need to make sure that we work together. And one of the visions that I've had, and you're going to love this one, here it is converting our easements that connect our whole city. I mean, these are huge arteries in our city. And if we can convert them to simple walking trails and bike trails, and we don't need to invest a lot of money. If we can get, again, our school districts, the county, the city, the neighborhood associations, the electric company, I see Hector out here, so Hector, I mean, imagine doing that, and getting the gas company, getting all these companies together to buy into the vision of building these trails that are going to improve the quality of life and improve our lives. I mean, and that's what we need. And so, yes, I agree with both the gentlemen here, is that I've got that vision, and I'm excited, and I'm passionate about moving us forward. I mean, and I laugh because that is my slogan, Mr. Romo, moving us forward. And so
I actually stole that from you, by the way.
I told you. And so, I'm really passionate about moving us forward. And so it's not just the Sportsplex, but it's building, making sure that we have the sidewalks. We can be up here and we can promise everything that we can, but the county's job at the end of the day is to make sure that we have cost-effective, efficient, transparent services for all of El Paso. Thank you.
Thank you.
The County of El Paso currently has a policy that prohibits discrimination in the workplace for county employees on the basis of race, color, age, religion, gender, sexual orientation, national origin, disability, or veteran status. If elected, will you support and work for amending this policy to include gender identity or expression so that transgender employees are protected from discrimination? And please explain your position.
Again, my thinking on that, yes, I will support it. Whether we like it or we don't, people deserve to be happy, and we just have to accept it. We might not like it, you might not agree with it, but you do have to accept it. It's gonna happen whether we like it or not, so I would support that 100%. I believe that, I'm a proud Democrat, I'm a liberal, conservatives scare me, they really do. In public, they act a certain way, and behind closed doors, oh my God, be careful. Democrats, behind closed doors and out in public, we are who we are. And they're just going to have to accept it. There's no other way of putting it. It's here, and it's going to get bigger, and it's growing stronger. The problem lies with the person who has a problem with it. They're being discriminatory. That's their problem. They don't like it. Too bad. Move on. Life goes on. I will support it 100%. Fully.
Absolutely. El Paso has always been known as a friendly city. In my circles, when I traveled outside El Paso, one of the things that they always said, people would say, I really like El Paso. And my favorite thing about El Paso is the people that are there. And I think that's what makes us a safe community, because a lot of us have been here generation after generation. So our roots are here. But how does that translate into the way we treat each other in city politics, county politics? We're just like opposites. And as I said before, God made us all equal, and I think in the scheme of things, everybody has to have the rights that everybody else is entitled to. And absolutely, you have to have them. One of the things, an example that I want to give, I read a passage, and it's a book, and it's an interview with God, and it said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And sometimes, if you've done business with a city, or if you've done business with a county, most of those employees are great, but sometimes it seems like they're doing you a big favor when you go get a birth certificate, or when you go get something. And it shouldn't be like this. This should be the representation of El Paso, friendly city, should also translate into city business, should also translate into county business. And we should take those thoughts into our benefits packages that we offer all employees. And there shouldn't be any difference between a person who's married to a female or a person who's living with a male, or any type of difference, in my view, whatsoever. And I think we're moving in that direction. Any other thoughts is, I think, contrary to any kind of advancement. Thank you.
My answer is absolutely yes. And let me first say that I'm very proud that I was endorsed by the Stonewalls. So thank you very much. And I will be that voice, and I will be passionate about changing policy. I love changing policy. So we'll make it better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Panelists, due to time constraints, We are going to have you have 1 minute to respond to each question. These are questions from the audience. And the first question is the following. What will you do to deal with corruption and crime to restore trust in your district?
Where do you want to start?
I'll let you, Mr. Romo.
It's going to be very tough, but I do believe that the only way that we're going to be able to restore trust is to get someone elected in office who's going to not just, talk the talk. It's going to walk the walk too as well. He needs to. I know we do have a trust deficit, and it's unfortunate, but you need to prove yourself. That's absolutely the only way that we're ever going to regain trust. It's by getting in there and working hard and proving yourself to your constituents and to El Paso that you're not like the rest. So that's exactly what we have to do. Just get in there and work hard and prove yourself.
Mr. Leon?
I agree with Mr. Romo. I think it is going to be hard, but at the same time, it's going to be very easy. If you have the right person in there that's going to do the right thing, there's nothing hard about it. It's going to happen. And El Paso is not immune or unique insofar as corruption. I was reading an article in Collier County, Florida, Naples, where Naples, Florida is. They had 3 county commissioners escorted out of the courthouse in handcuffs for also accepting bribes, kickbacks, and other corruption. This was during a county commissioners meeting. So El Paso is not unique. And I think, as it's been stated before, if you elect the right candidate that's going to do the right thing and is very transparent, my thoughts are, I'm going to also open up an office on the east side so I can meet with constituents and you don't have to go all the way downtown. And again, there's going to be an annex built out there, but until that time, there's plenty of people that have offered the county office space for that exact plan. Thank you.
And Ms. Montelongo.
Believe it or not, I forgot the question.
Let me read that for you.
Oh, it was about corruption. Okay. Brain fart, sorry. Okay, you can start now. Okay, I have a solid record of fighting corruption and being very outspoken about it. Let me tell you, my job, my passion, one of the things that I do is I work with students. I work with high school kids, I work with middle school kids, and I work with them, I mentor them, and I tell them about how to go to college and how to pay for it. And I also tell them that they are the leaders, they're our future leaders. And when I become an elected official, when I do become the commissioner, I want to be that mentor, not only to the kids that I work with, but be able to talk to more kids and to more students and get to know, this is your community. You have to fight for it, and I know that I want to fight for it.
Thank you very much. The second question from the audience is the following. What services do you want to offer city residents and then the county residents? Ms. Montelongo, shall we start with you?
Repeat the question.
Yes. What services do you want to offer the city residents and then the county residents?
Services. Well, I think because of the way the situation, our budget is, main thing is to make sure that we are meeting our duties with all mandated services. Of course, when we're looking at county, I want to make sure that when we're talking about, for example, sidewalks and rapid one of the main, I guess I'll do this one, the rapid transit. I want to make sure that we're not offering it only in the east side, but that we're going far out to the east and that we're offering it in all areas. I think at the end of the day, as one person out of 5 in county government, I want to be able to represent all of El Paso.
Mr. Leon.
One of the areas that I think isn't as fluid as it should be is the bus service between the county and the city. I hear a lot of complaints about they have to take 2-3 buses before they get to where they want to go. And again, it takes me back when I was hurt. I was in a wheelchair for a while, and I needed one of those lift buses to come get me. And the city does provide that, but I found in the county it's very light. It doesn't happen as often as it should, and there's a lot of people that need those services. So that's one area that I'm sure that I want to look at, because the services just aren't there. And if you look at the transportation hubs between the county and the city, there's a lot of connections. We just got back from Phoenix, and it was so easy to get in and out of the freeways there. And I'm not saying build another freeway. What I'm saying is be able to provide some transportation modes to people that just can't afford to use their car for whatever reason, the gas is high, to be able to get from point A to point B easier.
And Mr. Romo.
I believe that we have to educate our young and take care of our older Americans. So any services in regards to education, I will push for. Also, any services in regards to looking out for our older Americans, I will support. I do work for the county nutrition program, so I'm well aware of the problems and issues that older Americans face. They are neglected, and they do need a lot of support and a lot of help. Also, we need to educate our children, the quality of life, parks, do more outdoor activities. So I would probably more for educating our children and looking out for our older Americans.
Thank you very much. Now, the third question from the audience, you touched on a little bit, and they'd like to have this expanded upon. And the question is, what have you done so far to help El Paso? And Mr. De Leon, can we start with you?
Absolutely, thank you. I'm a member of the Adult Protective Services Board, and one of the things that I spearheaded recently is when you have an Alzheimer's patient at home, or he or she is someplace else, they have some of them, a lot of them, will walk off. And you've seen in the paper over the last few years that we've had some tragic deaths. And I'm thinking to myself, why is this happening with the technology that we have in our country, that we allow this to happen? There's people walking on the desert, they die. And what we brought to El Paso is what you call the M-Finder device. It's like a watch that you wear, and it takes two hands to take it off. And we just introduced that 2 months ago, and I can guarantee you it's going to save some lives in our senior community here in El Paso.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Romo?
I'm well aware of the issues that Mr. Leon just mentioned. Like I said, I do work with older Americans, and I see this day in and day out from family members abandoning their parents, from helping Alzheimer's participants at my center. I mean, you name it. I do this day in and day out, and I try to reach out to them and try to help them out as much as I can. And it's unfortunate for a lot of our older Americans and what they have to go through. People don't see that. People don't realize that unless you're in my shoes. And we do have to support something where we look out for our older Americans.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Montelongo.
Okay, well, I would say visit my website to see everything that I'm involved in. I don't know how to say no if it's a good cause. Today I was even involved, I even got arrested today, but for MDA. And so that was a really good cause because I was raising money for kids to go to camp. I've been involved in the community for over 20 years, and especially when it comes to education, if there's a cause, I'm there. I got to fight. I think the biggest thing, let me just say this, was I got to fight and won to keep the top 10 rule in Texas. If you don't know what that is, that's the opportunity for kids to get automatic admissions if you're in the top 10%. But I had also testified to exempt school districts from the stormwater fee, which meant taxpayers or homeowners wouldn't have to pay another fee or another tax. But I am really, really involved in the community. I love El Paso.
Thank you so much.
So at this time, we're going to allow you an opportunity, now that you've heard each other's positions, to take one question and ask any one of the opponents that you choose a question of your choice, and your opponent will have 1 minute to respond. The same time signals will apply. So we will begin with Mr. Romo, since you spoke last, Ms. Montelongo. You may ask any one of your opponents, but only just one question. Go ahead.
To each one?
Only one question to one candidate, sir.
To one candidate.
Yes, sir, so make it count.
That'd be good. I honestly, I don't have a question for you. I just want to wish you the best of luck, and it's an honor and a privilege to, run against us, Mr. Leon, Mrs. Montelongo. I've known so long. You've done some wonderful things with the police department, Mrs. Montelongo, and on Isleta School District. So it's an honor, and the experience thus far has been really great. So no question on my behalf.
Mr. Leon.
How can I ask a question? And it is, I see Ms. Montelongo or Mr. Romo, and it's always a pleasure to talk to them. I really enjoy it, and I don't see them as opponents. I see them as people that are going after an office because they think they're qualified just as I think I'm qualified. So the question shouldn't come from us. It should, my thoughts, they should come from the people out there. What are your questions?
Ms. Montelongo, we have allowed the audience to ask questions, and it's wonderful that you all have given each other an opportunity to just be grateful to sit on the same panel together. But you're also constituents in each other's districts, so your vote counts too. You're going to the ballot box also. So as a constituent, certainly you have the right to ask a question, and you may frame it in that way.
And I do, and I won't, because I agree. I mean, we're getting... I love you guys too. You know what? I'm just looking forward, that we finally have a date of when our election is. And I look forward to talking to more community people. And I do look forward to talking about the issues with Mr. Leon and Mr. Romo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all are now excused. Thank you very much. Let's thank our panel.